Hey guys, this is Jay coming to you from 21st Century Reviews. Just want to apologize for the month-long hiatus I've been on. Just had a lot of stuff going on in my home life and everything, and just trying to take care of a few things. But hey, we're back. We're bringing the reviews. We're bringing stuff to you and making it happen. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring you issue number 16 of Star Trek, the official Starships collection by Eagle Moss, the Ferengi Marauder. I gotta admit, this is not a favorite one of my ships in the collection. I built one many years ago. I think I was all of about 13 years old when I assembled one. Painted it myself. It was a white plastic mold, everything. So this is one I can say I did actually assemble my own version of. And when I actually compare this to some of my counterparts on YouTube and everything, my model is, wow, not up to snuff at all. And I'm going to kind of get into it a little bit more and kind of try to explain it and everything, but I also want to include the fact that I am starting to actually include some of the figures, everything, for the actual races, so that people will actually be able to equate who I'm talking about in case they actually don't know. So I thought it was kind of a neat little inclusion. I just decided to see what people say about it and everything. So if, as usual, if you have comments about it, or if you just say, hey, that's really lame or hokey, just feel free to say so. Anyway, like I said, the Ferengi Marauder Decora class is what it's referred to as. It was commissioned in the 24th century, approximately, and I am using the term loosely, but approximately the same time as the 1701D Enterprise was commissioned, excuse me. It was seen a grand total of 6 times in the run of Star Trek The Next Generation, and actually seen twice in Star Trek Voyager, which is kind of ironic if you think about it, because they had plenty of opportunity to show these ships in Deep Space Nine, considering how much of an important role the Ferengi actually did play in that series, and yet all we ever saw was their little shuttles, and I don't know, seems like a very missed opportunity there, but whatever. The standard crew complement was about 450 crewmen. The weapons array of this thing was actually pretty cool, because it had a whole myriad of things, from things they referred to as basically disruptor-style weapons, torpedoes, other sorts of phased plasma weapons, and then weirdly enough they actually made reference to forward and aft missile launcher systems. Kind of strange, but I mean, it's the only time you ever really hear that reference being used in Star Trek, so hey, who am I to complain? But it basically was the backbone of the Ferengi Alliance. It doubled as a warship and as a transport vessel. I mean, it was basically a unilateral ship. It was able to be used for a number of different things. But I mean, in all fairness, it's a really original design, and that's one of the things I actually give this model. Just because the Marauder was a very different kind of style, everything, and to be fair too, this is one of the things that you notice about whenever you like compare notes about where you saw the Ferengi in Deep Space Nine versus where you saw them when they first kind of came out. And I guess when Next Gen was being written, these guys were actually supposed to become like one of the main antagonists, everything, which was, you know, yeah, they were like a traitor kind of culture, but they were very warlike according to the way they wrote them. And you can tell by the way they dressed them and by the way they had them scripted and everything in the first season of Next Gen. They were a lot more aggressive than the Quarks and the Roms that we saw later on down the line. So, we have to get on to the pros and cons, plus the 3 marks I judge these things by. And unfortunately, I kind of had to do my homework a little bit and kind of look it up just to kind of get a perspective. So I took a look at Irish Trekkie real quick. Quick shout out to you, man. Just to kind of compare pictures and everything. And I have to say, I'm going to move my little Ferengi daemon, because that's what they were referred to instead of captains. But I'm going to lift this up and kind of show you. So, I don't know if you can really see it very clearly, so I'm going to do my best to focus here. There we go. Now, the paint is extremely faded. Now, on the models of the pictures I looked at and everything, this black that you see and the indentations along the stem of the neck of the ship, and then along the back ridges here is supposed to be like almost like tiger striping, like almost like a camouflage or textured wear and tear. It's basically with the idea that it's going to be, you know, basically kind of like a camouflage of sorts. And I guess, for lack of a better term, mine really didn't turn out. I'm just going to be honest and say it looks like crap. The entire top of it is faded, and even let me show that to kind of give some perspective. That the bottom of it is that really, really rich brown, almost clay color, like red clay color almost. And it's supposed to look like that. And, I mean, sections of the dorsal section of the hull do have that, but it's only on the very front and on the tips of the wings. Everything else is this faded out, washed out white color, and it looks terrible. I'm just gonna come right out and say it. It looks terrible. I was gonna repaint it, and then it dawned on me that it was like, well, I shouldn't have to, and then I thought, I'm not gonna ask Eagle Moss to fix it, everything, because I got this one quite some time ago. So I mean, it'd kind of be a lame duck response to have to say something to them now. I don't think they'd appreciate it either. So, and in this instance, I actually can't say I blame them too much. But my main points that I go after: paint application. I think I just went over that. 1 out of 5. Terrible paint application. This thing, you know, it basically looks like somebody spilled a bottle of bleach on it, and it's all gone. All the details are missing. I mean, like, you know, even some of the window application looks like correct. It actually looks like it's supposed to, but yet the whole top of the paint job is washed out. Looks terrible. Aztecing, I have to at least give it mid marks, but the problem is with the lack of paint application, the Aztecing doesn't look right because it has no dimension, and it doesn't look right. So Aztecing only gets a 3 out of 5 mark. Decals, I will say that I'm basically going to have to give it a perfect score, only because these things only had 2 decals, and it's the Ferengi emblem one on each side of the wings. And to be fair, those are correct. They are placed exactly where they're supposed to be, so I can't really gripe about that. So we move on to the pros and cons. Pros, I will say, the design is exactly the design it's supposed to be. It looks exactly like the one I used to have. The openings on the disruptor banks on the wings don't exactly look correct, but I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, it's molded, so I'm not going to complain about it. It does have on the sides, I will say, and on the ventral section, there's a big plate on the bottom of it on both sides. That's a clear plastic plate. To be fair, as somebody had said to me, they were like, isn't it supposed to be orange? Well, to be fair, the whole ship is a you know, muddy orange, you know, almost clay color. If you put orange plastic on there, it would just blend in. You wouldn't be able to see the distinction. So, to be fair, they put gold on here, kind of like a goldish yellowish color. And to be fair, I actually think that's actually not bad. That's actually a good idea, because at least then you can kind of see the distinction with it and everything, and that's a good thing. So. Cons, like I said, the paint is bad. You can't see the details to it because there's no way to contour it with the paint job, so it doesn't look very good. So unfortunately, the Ferengi Marauder gets a whopping 1 out of 5. So, anyway, I'm going to try and see if I can shoot another one of these tonight and everything and bring you the next issue in the collection. I do want to say I've really seen a lot of activity on the Facebook page the last week. I mean, I have had likes galore going on, but I'm not seeing subscribers on the actual YouTube channel, and that's what I need, guys. I need subscribers. Please, you know, feel free. Subscribe to the channel. It's literally at the click of a button. That way, whenever I do put out a new video and everything, you'll actually know and you'll get to see it. So, again, comments, complaints, grievances, anything good you want to point out, if you like the inclusion of the new figures kind of thing, I'm thinking I'm going to kind of run with it. If I have a figure that's relevant, even if I don't, I'll see if I can just put one up just for funsies. So, feel free to, like I said, leave me comments, and we'll see you next time.
1 minute to auto-destruct. 1 minute to auto-destruct.